My name is Joshua Garza, and today's speech is on why volunteerism is important and beneficial for society, as well as for your personal well-being. When was the last time that you volunteered? When was the last time that you gave up your time for an ideal cause or group that you believed in? The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported in 2016 that volunteer rates have been steadily declining for over a decade. This is due to numerous reasons, including a lack of investment in nonprofits and a lack of interest for certain interest groups. Research suggests that volunteerism is beneficial to the organizations that need it, such as nonprofits that function solely on donations, charity, and volunteer work, as those that volunteer in terms of their psychological health and well-being. Now, there's three main points that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the fact that the current volunteer rates are still dropping, that the need for volunteers is still high in religious schools and senior-based organizations, and that the need for younger volunteers has never been higher, and also that there are several psychological benefits to volunteering that could produce improved well-being. Now, if you look at our visual aid here, you'll see that the current volunteer rates are still dropping and have been for years. In 2011, 26.8% of the population volunteered. 5 years later, in 2015, that number dropped to 24.9%. And statistically, the people that are most likely to volunteer are part of an older age group, and teenagers and younger adults are least likely to volunteer. Now, this is a dangerous trend because younger people are going to be less likely to volunteer moving forward, and these numbers could decrease dramatically going forward. Nonprofits, as well as religious, school, and senior-based organizations, need more and oftentimes younger volunteers to benefit their events. These types of organizations are usually the least likely to have resources to fund full-time staff or money to fund their programs. According to volunteermatch.org, the most recent volunteer opportunities in the Houston, Texas area produced hundreds of results and the need for more volunteers across the variety of nonprofits. The category with the most need was community-based volunteering, with 359 different opportunities. Children and youth had 181 different opportunities. Seniors had 160. Health and medicine had 151. Human rights had 108. And education and literacy had 104. Therefore, there are literally hundreds of volunteer opportunities in this immediate area, and the overall need is an estimated 3.5 million volunteers, and that's according to Volunteer Match, January 2018. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics also did a separate report that was interesting because it talked about the different types of categories that volunteers help out in. Now, the type of activity that volunteers did the most was the collecting, preparing, and distributing and serving of food. And this was at 11.3%. Now, other activities included tutoring or teaching at 9.2%, fundraising at 9.0%, and engaging in general labor at 8.8%. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics also reports that the main types of activities volunteers performed also vary by educational attainment. People with college degrees are more likely to tutor or teach, while volunteers with less than a college education were more likely to collect, prepare, and distribute food. Now, this shows that we need a diverse group of volunteers from each age group and also each educational level, so we can help some of these underserved areas where people need, where the need for more volunteers is higher. Now, there are several psychological benefits to volunteering that could produce improved well-being. Livestrong.com is a health and fitness website, an affiliate of the Livestrong organization, and they say that volunteer work is important for your health. The Corporation for National and Community Service say that volunteering improves psychological and physical health. Volunteers reap the personal sense of accomplishment from building social networks, and in times that does support them in stressful times. The article also cites that benefits to a person's resume also occur because it shows a willingness to work and to help others. This is especially beneficial for younger aged people such as teenagers and young adults that lack actual employment experience but have a huge amount of volunteer experience. And this aids them as they apply for either higher education opportunities like college and work. And also Psychology Today, a large magazine and website, lists several articles that show why volunteerism benefits the brain, mental, and social health of a person. The act of volunteering is usually to improve someone else's life or well-being and gives you a sense of accomplishment, fellowship, and happiness. Kinder, helpful people supposedly live longer because the feel-good benefits of doing good, such as volunteering. This is called a helper's high, or a distinct physical association a physical sensation associated with helping. The participants feel less depressed, calmer, and stronger. Now, teens also benefit from this. Teens that are more active, engaged, and excited, they are at a reduced risk for adolescent depression and suicide, and several studies have shown that teenagers who volunteer are less likely to fail a subject in school, get pregnant, or abuse substances. Teens who volunteer also tend to be more socially competent and have higher self-esteem. Now, research suggests that volunteerism is beneficial to the organizations that need it, such as nonprofits that function solely on donations, charity, and volunteer work, as well as those that volunteer in terms of psychological health and well-being. Now, as we've discussed already, the current volunteer rates are still dropping, while the need has never been higher for nonprofits as well as religious schools and senior-based organizations. And there are several psychological benefits to volunteering that help produce an improved well-being. We need to take the time to help local nonprofit organizations that are essentially understaffed and under-resourced, and for local events to help improve the community, and to encourage volunteerism, particularly among the youth, starting from an early age, to help stop the decline of overall volunteerism. Thank you very much.